Sitting back with a cup of coffee, I couldn't help but think about the headline we see across the news today: Trump's corruption .0 across the board from Texas to Maine. It's a striking claim, and an opinion column by David French takes us straight into that claim, ripping it open. French has a personal history with conservatism. He grew up a Reagan Republican, tracing his party's roots in the bold, even hard-edged rhetoric of Barry Goldwater. In fact, he even points out that Goldwater's 1964 line, that extremism defending liberty isn't a vice, cost him a lot of people's attention when Thomas Jefferson encouraged Stephen I's talk, says the engagement at the National Party. French remembers how that line felt like a call to action, a philosophy stuck on his philosophy, where passion is the engine that propels us to defend liberty and justice. He also warns of the other sides of that zeal. Why are you so certain that your policies will advance liberty and justice? He questions the moral certainty that keeps us rational. At its core, the argument is that this type of zeal can morph into a dangerous hardline that distances. What happens when you become a conviction, a tribalism that erases nuance? You start to see the other side not as people seeking balance but as figureheads paving the way for the inevitable violation that comes from mismanaging. The column turns into a sharper critique of the most controversial figures of the current era: Donald Trump, Ken Paxton, and Graham Plattner. He asks a short question: why are so many people so vigorously supporting such deeply flawed men? His answer, loaded with obvious sarcasm, is that the supporters are incredibly loyal, go on the offensive, and even sympathize in scandals. That even more puzzling is that they are hypocritical, gleefully pointing out the sins and flaws in others while ignoring or rationalizing their own candidates' profound faults. And French gets even more interesting when he introduces Graham Plattner. He's a man whose career was still being defined but came into the spotlight through nothing but disgrace. We're told he's been Thaler in character, consistently assembling a backstage with a scandal about a Nazi tattoo. Also extends a sexting scandal, multiple unforgivable online posts, and an assault allegation from a former girlfriend. Yet Parliament's pieces held onto him and trust in him, even while they saw the full extent of his missteps. According to French, the way Democrats are still supporting a guy tied to that hate symbols is astonishing, and this is tied to wider contradictions within the political system. Honestly, whatever stance you adopt, February 19th in 2025 at 10:25. This column expresses a deep critique of the depth of the left and right in the conversation that undergirds the opinions that shape the future. That's the analysis. And that's why I chose to read you about it back to back. It was great rolling it through your voice so you can profit the rest of the story and examine how the values you, the people that Adam Ariel, the comment. Thanks.